I know the Yankees scored a ton of runs. They're probably still scoring against the Pirates, but the Mets had maybe one of their most important wins, especially as we head into the All-Star break of the last month or so, mainly because of where Atlanta is. And one of the catalysts for the win last night, because it went to extras as we all saw, was Dom Smith. Dom Smith is such an interesting case for the New York Mets. Dom Smith needs to play every single day. And it's hard to say that because Mets fans are probably listening to this saying, what are you talking about? Dom Smith, he's terrible. He got pushed out. He got sent down to the minors. He was a malcontent. That he needs to play every day. And I'll explain it here in a second. He obviously had a big hit in the extra innings that got the Mets the win against the Reds. Yes, I know it was the Reds. You should be beating the Reds. But sometimes bad teams have good nights, and the Reds had a good night. Hell, the Reds beat the Atlanta Braves a couple of nights ago. So the Reds can do it. The Mets had to knuckle up and come away with a big victory, and they did, because if they were to lose this series, it would have we'd be up in arms. But one of the catalysts that we started to talk about, that I started to talk about, was Dom Smith. Now, Dom Smith's past is so interesting. At the beginning of the season, we had all of these expectations for him. Can he be a part-time player? Can he be a guy who spells Pete Alonso at first base and gives him some rest, but then also can be a DH? Can he be this part-time player and still produce? And before the season started, there was a lot of interest and hype around Dom Smith and what he could bring for this Mets squad. But what we found was that the team really didn't have a spot for him. Right, you got J.D. Davis on this team and others, Guillaume and Escobar. It's like, where does Dom Smith fit? He doesn't really, and he almost got traded. And you remember the narrative around it? And Buck Showalter had to basically, whatever, not actually, not literally, but figuratively put his arm around Dom Smith and say, hey, you know what? People want you. That's a good thing, Dom Smith. We might have to trade you, but that's a good thing. It's not because we don't want you. We don't have a spot for you, but it might be because you're just highly desirable. You're young, 27 years old. You've had some really good success, even though it's been intermittent at times. Dom Smith was kind of in this limbo phase. And then he just had a mediocre, average, sometimes below average. Every now and then he'd have some big moments for you, but just kind of waffled. And they sent him down at the end of May. After the May 29th game, a win against Philadelphia, they send Dom Smith down to the minors. And it's just like, uh-oh, what does this mean? Where's Dom Smith's career headed? And eventually, the Mets brought him back up June 21st. And since that time, and he's mostly played every day. Now, I'm not talking about his splits. I'm not saying, go look at his OPS, go look at his batting average against righties or his batting average against lefties. Those have actually been pretty bad, 200 and 225 respectively. And that's over the course of the season. But over the last, 11 games, 27 at-bats, Dom Smith is hitting .333. He's got 3 RBIs, only struck out 6 times, and his OPS is almost 900. Dom Smith, when he plays every day, like we speculated maybe he should do at the beginning of the season, has produced for this Mets team. And in a game where they had to win, because if they lose last night and the Atlanta Braves are just going to keep on rolling, they're about to sweep the St. Louis Cardinals, and then they take on the Washington Nationals for a set of 3 before they have the Mets themselves. They had to win this game last night against the Reds, and Dom Smith came up big. And I love what I'm seeing from him playing every day. It was a narrative that we started the season with, and it's one that we're starting to get back to because we see the benefit of him being out there on the field. And especially, and I really feel convicted to this when I think about the alternatives. Because what are the alternatives right now? Right? Could you trade him? Maybe if he gets hot and he keeps hitting around 300 when he's playing every day. Could he become an interesting target for another team in Major League Baseball? Sure, but go find me that team. Who's trading for Dom Smith right now? Right? There's just too many. There's not that many options to get rid of Dom Smith where the Mets are going to get back something. I don't know, enticing for them or important for them. Maybe the Orioles. Maybe. But I don't think the Padres are in on this anymore. I mean, I don't think the Cleveland's in on this anymore. I don't think any of these teams would want a Dom Smith at this point. And so with the lack of an option of trading him, just keep him and play him every day because we're starting to see the benefit of it. And what's the alternative? We know what the alternative is. Out of the 70, how many games they played now? 77, is it 80? No, it's 82 now. 82 games. J.D. Davis has DH'd 36 times. Pete Alonso has DH'd 18 times, and that's when you just want to give him a day off from first base. He is your everyday first baseman. He wants to play every day at first base. You kind of got to let Pete Alonso, who's your star, play every day at first base. And Dom has DH'd 13 of those games. You're telling me that Dom Smith's not better as a DH right now than J.D. Davis? The answer is absolutely yes. And when you're playing him every day, like you've been playing him every day over the last couple of weeks, Dom Smith has been doing exactly what you want him to do. Get clutch hits, be critical, and maybe put himself back into that category where we thought he was at the beginning of the season. Don't forget our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get guaranteed lowest prices on brand name tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Dom Smith, he's an enigma in so many ways because we don't really know what to think about him. We know what the pre-expectation was for him. We know what we thought coming into this season. Because I remember the narrative at the beginning of the season. Let's find a way to get Dom on the field every day. And then it was, but he's expendable. Let's get rid of Dom. And then it was, all right, he's okay. And then it was, all right, let's push him down into the minors. Let's option him because he's not being productive and he can't play this part-time role. And then you bring him back. And he's been a really good piece. It's almost like it's come full circle for the New York Mets. And mainly because there isn't a great alternative yet. They could trade for one, or they could bring one of these kids up from the minors, whether that's Alvarez or it's Vientos. They could bring one of those guys up to play DH. But in the absence of doing that yet, Dom Smith is your best option. Play Dom Smith every day. 877-337-6666. The Mets need someone who can be consistent. And when Dom Smith plays every day, he's starting to be pretty consistent. Let's get to your calls here. Let's go out to Montclair, New Jersey. Sean, welcome to the Fan. What's up, Sean?
Hey, Tiki. How you doing today?
I am good. Yourself? Do you agree or you disagree?
Great. I couldn't agree with you more.
Excellent.
I've been a big Dom Smith. I'm a big Mets fan. I've been a big Dom Smith fan since he came up originally. And you know what I love about him? He's a really hard worker. When he first came up, he was overweight. People called him lazy.
That's right.
And he's really worked hard on his craft. And I just think he'll slump like any other ball player, but you give him the opportunity to DH. Give Alonso those days off. He's a great first baseman. I went to the Astros day game last week.
Yep.
I was gifted some seats really close to the batter's box, and just watching it, he was playing first that day. Just watching him, just scoop balls, and there was a lot of balls to the hot corner, and he was scooping balls left and right. He's a really good first baseman. And man, I love his attitude. I think he's a hard worker, and he needs to be in the lineup.
That's exactly how I feel about it, Sean. It makes me feel as if when Dom Smith is in the lineup, and appreciate your call, Sean. When Dom Smith is in the lineup, there could be something really good that happens for you. And when you alternate him at first, and if you need to give Pete day off because he just needs a day off, not playing on the field and being on his feet all day, Dom is the perfect substitute for him. And then he put him back into the DH role. We know where J.D. Davis is right now. He can't hit fastballs. His mind is a little off. His approach at the plate is off. And Dom Smith, I believe, has the ability to carry that DH spot with much more frequency than he's currently been given. And if you let him play every day, we've seen it. And you just go through the stats over the last, it's a small sample size. It's only 11 games. But it's the narrative that existed for him at the beginning of this season. It's the one that a lot of people were talking about. Let's get Dom Smith some time. If you're going to trade him, it was going to be because he needed to see more time. If you push him down in the minors, it was the same reason. He needed to see more bats. He needed to play every day, as opposed to being a platoon player who's stuck in this mire of bodies and situations. Now, I mean, the challenge is he doesn't have a ton of positional versatility. I mean, I guess you could put him out in left field, but he's really your DH and your backup first baseman. But when Dom Smith is playing, it seems like good things happen. At least when he's playing consistently, good things are happening. And this is so important for the Mets. It's important for the Mets perceptually, despite where they've been, having at points the best record in the National League, leading the division by 10 or 11 games. The Braves are absolutely coming. They have turned the corner completely from that early season melees that they were in, and they are roaring up to try to catch the New York Mets. And the series, which is just when does that series start? It's on Monday, right? Yeah, the series. Next Wednesday, the series starts. No, next Monday it is. I was right. Next Monday, the series against the Mets starts. They can't afford to have any weak holes against the Braves team that is just thriving right now. And so the Mets need to lock their stuff in. You know what I mean? It's like, get your things, get your house right, because you're going to get the biggest challenge of early July pre-All-Star break when the Atlanta Braves come to town, and you're going to have to match them player for player, pitcher for pitcher. Now, I am glad, and we just heard this, that Max Scherzer's start is being pushed by a day, a couple of days, I believe, being pushed so that he's going to get his next start on Monday against the Atlanta Braves, which makes me feel good, especially how Max Scherzer pitched in his last outing where he was just dominant. Let's get to Mike, who is in Clifton Park, New York. What's up, Mike? Welcome to the Fan.
Hey, thanks, Tiki. So I agree and disagree with what you said about Dom Smith. First, I'm glad he's playing better.
Yes.
And now,
he's playing every day, so maybe that's why he's playing better.
Well, no, I disagree with you.
Okay, go ahead.
So I think when he was playing it, when he got the chance to play every day before he got sent down, his offense was atrocious, and his defense was fine, but he wasn't helping the club, and he had his chances, and they sent him down, and he made the adjustment there. And since he made the adjustment, he has now been hitting, and now that he's hitting, now I think he should stay in, but he didn't deserve to stay in prior to that. So I disagree with you there. He may be traded at some point for a pitcher, but now that he's made the adjustment and now that he's hitting, put him in the lineup and keep him there, because he's only going to help us. And thanks, Tiki.
Yeah,
Bye now.
Appreciate you, Mike. Yeah, and that's my. I mean, baseball is such a game of failure, and it's cyclical, and sometimes you're on. There was that series against Colorado where, I mean, he didn't have a hit in that series. It was on the road. That's when he was back playing every day. They had a doubleheader. It was early or mid-May. He had a doubleheader. He didn't have a hit in that series, and then they played the Giants. He had a couple hits, but then he went hitless again, and that's when they sent him down. It was just one game out of, I think it was 7 or 8, where he just didn't get any hits. And they identified correctly. Maybe you need some time to get yourself right. So they send him down, and he comes back up. And the beauty of a guy like Dom, who I think works hard and has a grinding mindset to his way of thinking, is that he may be upset, pissed off that he gets sent down to the minors, but he's not going to let it affect him. It's the other way. It's the other way of thinking when you get sent down. It's like, I'm getting sent down because I need to, or I don't deserve to. When your mindset says I'm getting sent down, I don't deserve to, you get pissed off about it. You don't go work. You don't go figure it out. Don went down and he figured it out, and he came back, and now he's done. He's doing great. He's got 25. He's got 10 hits. How many hits has he had since he's been back in this 9? He's got 9 hits over this series. He's hitting .333. He's got a couple RBIs, not striking out a ton. And, I think he's valuable for this team. And if he plays every day and he keeps this up, he's going to continue to be one of those catalysts. Let's get Jordan, who is in Brick, New Jersey. What's up, Jordan? Welcome to the Fan.
Hey, Tiki, how are you?
I'm good, dude. Yourself?
not too bad, hanging in there. So I got it. Everyone's feeling really good about Dom right now and everything like that. But my issue is that he comes up hot, perfect, great. That's a great thing for us. But why don't we play a little bit like how the Yankees used to play when they used to call guys up and say, hey, look at this guy. He's playing pretty well. And when they get that little strike of luck where a guy plays well, he becomes a little bit more attractive to a trade with any other team, where they go, all right, Dom Smith came up, he's hitting well. Maybe there's somebody that's trying to part with a good bat or a good bullpen arm, where you could say, you know what, man, Dom Smith is not always going to do what he's doing right now in this series, but somebody's going to be, lack for a better term, dumb enough to take him and say, all right, we're not signing this guy anyways. The Mets have money. They'll take on that contract and go from there.
Well, you know what? It's interesting you say that, because that very well could be the game plan that Buck Showalter and this team has for Dom Smith. It's just, let's get him playing, and let's get him playing well so that we can trade him. But the challenge with that is that I don't think the Mets are in a position to play that kind of game. Like, if they get passed by the Atlanta Braves, so say over the next 3 games before they face each other next Monday, they go in a slump, they lose to the Reds, and all of a sudden it's like, we're in second place in the division. Think about perceptually how that's going to make the Mets fan feel, or think about how it's going to make the Met feel. Defending champion Atlanta Braves, they're coming. They hit a ton of home runs. They got a really good staff as well. I mean, if they get ahead of us, then we're playing catch up, and who knows if we can catch up. You need everything firing, and so trading Dom Smith is an option. But I think getting Dom Smith to play great for you is the better option for right now. You know what I mean? Now, maybe there is a trade that could happen, but I don't know. I tried to look through it before the show started. We were going through who's going to trade for Dom Smith. I couldn't find a team that it made sense for, that Dom Smith was right for them. You know what I mean?
Correct. Right now, you don't have anybody that would trade for Dom Smith. But let's say Dom Smith goes hot for the next week, 2 weeks.
Yes.
Let's say he plays well in that Atlanta Braves series. Now, it would be a little tough for the Mets to say, well, do we trade him now? Maybe he's finally happening.
Yeah, because he's playing every day. We found the role for him, right?
Right.
That's my point.
It's just a pass, though. He hasn't shown the glimpse of being very consistent. We have Lindor in the batting lineup already. We don't need another Lindor that can go and hit you 5 home runs and then go on a slump for a week and a half. We just don't have that availability. And to have Dom Smith, JD, and these other guys, Nitto in some cases, yes, McNeil hits, Alonso hits, all these guys hit. But, when you have a star that's getting $300 million, he's not going to be the guy that's going to be able to take on – this team can't take on another guy that's going to go into the slump.
Yeah, no, you're right. And Dom Smith, thank you. Appreciate your call, Jordan. But Dom Smith is under control for two more seasons. So he's got this season, and he's got ARB 3 and ARB 4, which I didn't realize. Hoff, you got to talk to me about ARB 4, because I don't really know what the hell ARB 4 is. I thought it was 3. But
I didn't know either until today when I saw ARB 4. So that's new for a lot of people.
Whatever it is, this is according to Spotrac. They may be wrong, but it is what it is. Dom Smith is under control for 2 more years. So he's valuable if he becomes that guy, right? That consistent everyday player who can play DH. He can substitute. He can fill in for your first baseman if he needs to take a day off. Your first baseman needs to take a day off. He's got so much control that he is a valuable piece, as long as it's proven that he can be that guy on a consistent basis. So if I'm the Mets, I need to see that. I need to know that. I need to show other teams that Dom Smith's got to play every day right now. One, because he's either increasing his trade value, or maybe more importantly, I think this is actually the more important, the Braves are coming. You got to have somebody consistent, and more consistent than J.D. Davis has been. Pete wants to play every day. The DHs are J.D., Pete, and Dom. Out of those 3, Pete's going to play every day. Give me Dom as a DH. And I think, I don't know how you argue with that. I know Hoff is upset about this. We'll talk to him in the next segment. But Dom Smith's got to play every day. I think if you think about it, you got to agree.